I heard we got some love at Consida this morning. There was a meeting. In a mediocre fashion. Was it milk toast? Milk toast mentions. Than who? Than Corolla? Well, I mean, come on. What's that? Yeah. Well, he's shaky to begin with. Double secret probation? Was to see how Corolla was, yeah. Animal House was filmed at Oregon. How'd you guys do with the Spanish in the last press? That was harder than what Nigel Hayes did to y'all 2 years ago. Más difícil. Oh, en español. Yeah, you got 90 seconds off. That was your move. Nice socks. We may find out on them in a little while. Said we may not find out on them for a while. It's okay. We can roll with it. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, we'll be joined by the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Roy Williams, along with student athletes Justin Jackson and Kennedy Meeks. The student athletes not joining us here in the main interview room will be available to you in the North Carolina locker room. No word on student athletes from Oregon yet, but we'll have a few down here in the main interview room, and then the remainder will be in the Oregon locker room as well. We'll try to keep you guys up to date on when the locker rooms open and close. It's a 30-minute availability session in total, 2 15-minute press conferences in this room. Somebody's cell phone making some noise gives me an opportunity to review a couple of things. Please be sure to silence your cell phone. That's coincidentally the first reminder. That's not any kind of direct causation effect. But please take a moment to turn your cell phone on silent or vibrate. Please refrain from the use of any kind of flash photography and any kind of video recording. Also, for the duration of the Final Four, live publishing to social media is prohibited throughout the entire arena. Please keep that in mind. No Facebook, no Instagram Live, no Snapchat Live. You can shoot video for your stories, but you can't go live at any point during the Final Four from now until Monday night after the game. The North Carolina locker room is open at this time, which also means that head coach Roy Williams, Justin Jackson, and Kennedy Meeks will join us in just a moment. 30 minutes open locker room for North Carolina begins now. So again, please silence your cell phones. Please refrain from any sort of video recording or flash photography. You can take photos, just please ensure that the flash is off. And if you need the satellite information, it's the same as it's been all week and weekend. You can come up and ask me or ask the gentleman or lady from Hammond Communications in the back of the room. Everyone is equipped with that information. Five is great. Hey, Coach. Congrats. Once again, the North Carolina locker room is open for a period of 30 minutes, including this news conference. We're joined now by the head coach, Roy Williams, along with Justin Jackson and Kennedy Meeks. We'll ask Coach Williams to begin with an opening statement, then we'll take questions first for the student athletes only. Coach.
Okay, the thing that's easy to say and easy to understand, we're relieved. We feel very lucky, feel very fortunate. We're still playing, but the fact of the matter is we're still playing. These two guys up here, Kennedy, I thought was awesome. I thought he controlled everything inside, 25 points, 14 rebounds, 11 of 13. I thought he was just sensational. Justin made, I think, 3 big threes in the second half when the tempo got going up and down a little bit more. You know, it was a little weird there at the end because I'm standing almost on line with that three that I think it was Dorsey that shot it, and there was no way that ball was going to go in the basket. And it bounced around. It went below the rim, and it crawled back over top and went back in. And so that was pretty weird. But and then we missed a bunch of free throws. But we talk and work on little things all the time. I tell them if you line up on the rebound spot, when your teammate's shooting the free throw, you're trying to rebound. You're either trying to tip it out or get a rebound. And Kennedy went there. No, Joel, I think, first went there and missed, and then Kennedy went there and missed, or vice versa. And then Kennedy got the second rebound. And so we do work on those things. We do talk about those things, but feel very lucky, but that's okay. It doesn't make any difference. We're still one of 2 teams playing on Monday night.
Questions for the student athletes at this time? Student athletes only. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll send a microphone in your direction, and let's start just to the left of the aisle, right here in row number 3.
Brett Friedlander, North State Journal. Kennedy, could you go through that last sequence with the 4 free throws missed and your rebound, and how strange was that? Have you ever been involved in a game that ended like that?
I mean, I'm sure I have through my career of basketball, of course. But the main thing is my teammates kept me involved. I got down on myself when I missed the 2 free throws because that definitely could have been good for us. But my main focus was if Joel missed the second free throw, hit the offensive glass hard, because I know earlier in the game I didn't hit the glass, and I looked over at Coach, and he kind of gave me the motion to hit the offensive glass. So I'm going to try to do that to the best of my ability. Jordan Bell kind of went in a little more than I thought he would, so I just got behind him, and the ball fell in my hand.
Continuing with questions for Kennedy or Justin at this time, there's one toward the back on the right side of the aisle.
Kennedy, yesterday you'd mentioned that you do whatever it takes to help the team win. Against Kentucky, that meant taking 4 shots. But tonight, at what point did you realize you're going to have to score buckets to help the team win?
I kind of had that in the back of my mind. I just knew that we had to be aggressive in the paint. Coach told us that it was going to be a man's game, and us 4 big men had to do a great job on the inside. And Isaiah wasn't making any shots. Luke kind of got it going a little bit, and then they kind of took it away. So I just took it upon myself to just try to do the best I could to call for the ball, especially when my teammates got in trouble.
Continuing with questions for the Tar Heel student athletes, if there are any, please raise your hand. There's one in the center of the room. Adam.
Hey guys, Adam Zagoria for both you guys. You've been to 2 final championship games now in a row without a single one-and-done player on your team. What does that kind of say about the recruiting approach and the approach to North Carolina recruiting? And did either of you think you might be one-and-done when you came in?
And Kennedy, can you answer that first and Justin second?
Well, I think education is important. My family always preaches that to me. So to answer your question, no, I never thought being one and done. I knew that this was going to be a great program for me, a great coaching staff that would teach me how to become a man over the course of the 4 years. And it's a great outcome, I think. I think I'm a great product from what Coach Williams has started off.
And Justin.
There's nothing bad about, schools that might have a lot of one-and-dones. But coming to a place like this with a coach like Coach and brothers that you can call family for the rest of your life, there's nothing better than that. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the second Final Four that I've been to in my 3 years, and it's the second that he's been to. And so, there's nothing better than winning. And coming to a place like this where you have family, education, the best of the best when it comes to basketball, I don't think it can really get much better.
On the right side up front, Nancy.
Nancy Armour with USA Today Sports. Kennedy, you said that you kind of felt you needed to take it upon yourself. What does that feel like when you know that this could be the last game, that if you don't take it upon yourself, you guys are going home?
I think I know it might have been too late, but I kind of realized that during the Butler game when Coach got on me for not boxing out, and I sat out for a couple minutes. And I just knew that it's important for me to do so, just to help my team out in any way I can. And it takes you a long time to really get over that you don't have to score to be effective. You don't have to shoot all the shots to be effective. You can do other things, rebounding. I told Isaiah that before the game. I know he's been in a slump, but he can rebound the ball. He can get assists. He can get steals and do all those things above. So I just took it upon myself to do the best job I could, whether that was me having a great defensive game, scoring the ball when I can, or getting all the rebounds.
On the left side toward the back, Howie.
Howard Casoy, New York Post. For both players, how do you think the experience of last year's title game will impact how you head into this game?
We'll ask Kennedy to take that first, and then Justin.
I think this is maybe maybe like the 50th time that we've kind of answered a question about that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a different team. It's a different year. But I mean, we got to go into it. Gonzaga's a totally different team than Villanova was, and so we got to get whoever has the scout. We got to get used to the scout a little bit, and then at the end of the day, it's just playing as hard as we possibly can when we get out there. I don't know how much we're going to really be thinking about. Okay, we saw this last year, so maybe we can change it this year. So I think it's just going out there and playing as hard as we possibly can. Kennedy, anything to add to that?
I think you're always going to have that in the back of your mind because it was a heartbreaking experience for us. We came so far last year. But like Justin said, this is a different team. We have different dynamics. We don't really rely on just one person to score the ball or two people to score the ball. And Bryce and Marcus, they did a tremendous job of leading us last year. I think it's more of a collective effort where everybody has to do a tremendous job of doing the things we do best, which is running the ball up the court, rebounding, posting up inside.
Toward the front on the left.
Kiera Luck of Carolina Blues for Kennedy or Justin. You guys seemed out of sync the first couple of minutes in the first half. What made everything click for you guys to pull out this win?
Justin, can you take that one first?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that defense that they play, it's totally different than anything that we've seen. I mean, teams like Louisville, they try to play a matchup zone, but with Oregon, it just looked different. And so, we weren't as aggressive, but I think once we kind of found, the spots that we could attack and we had better movement and spacing, I think that's whenever we kind of got into it. And then once we started getting stops, we didn't have to play against a set defense the whole time. And I think that was the biggest part of it is we were able to get out in transition and get better shots out of things that we wanted to do.
And Kennedy?
I think our main objective every game is to hit teams early in the mouth, whether that's attacking them on the offensive end or playing great defense. And they did a tremendous job of getting up in us. I think we kind of got rattled a little bit, but once we settled down and we recognized They were switching those defenses, and we had to adjust and move as fast as we can on the offensive end. Everything opened up for us.
We'd like to thank Kennedy and Justin for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to rejoin their teammates back in the locker room, which remains open for availability for student athletes.
Good job, guys. Good job.
We'll take the first question for Coach Williams all the way to the left up front. Zach.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. Your last game against Kentucky, Kenny had 17 rebounds, 4 blocks. Obviously tonight, one of the best games of his career. Do you think it's just a senior not wanting to see it end? Anything specific for what you've seen these last 2 games from him?
Well, I think I'm hoping that's what it was too, because I want the guys to have that kind of focus. But I think it was 2 completely different games. I thought we had a big advantage inside, but we weren't showing that. Particularly Isaiah early was really struggling, and Kennedy was having some success. It bothered me when he got his 3rd foul and his 4th foul, because they're both little reach-in fouls. And big guys, I've always said, should never make fouls with their hands below their waist, kind of thing. And but it was 2 completely different games. But he was our only guy inside that was scoring. I mean, I look down there and I see that Isaiah's 1 for 12, Joel was 2 for 14, so we needed more offense from Kennedy tonight than we have a lot of games. And I think he stepped up and did that, and I just thought he was sensational around the basket, and not only just on the offensive boards but on the defensive boards both. But I'm sure he's got tremendous focus as a senior, and he wants to keep playing, but so do the other guys and so do the other teams. So a lot of times it's just, are you playing well on that one specific night?
Toward the back to the right of the aisle.
Jacob Palmer, San Francisco Examiner. Coach, what goes through your mind when you're in the last 5 seconds and you watch your players miss 4 straight free throws?
Oh, jump off the building, something like that. Something's going on. If you go back and look at it on our defense, we were playing pretty well defensively, except we were fouling them. They made 15 free throws in the second half. They're 15 of 16. And in the stretch where we had it to 10, it got down to 4 or 5, and it was almost every one was on foul shots. And so I was frustrated with that. I was frustrated when that ball seemed to crawl in the hole, but you got to have that kind of toughness that the kid had to make it. And I still thought we were all right, and I felt like that we would finish the game better than we did, to say the least. But it is something that we do stress on the free throws. We don't just line up there and turn around and start to go back. We do try to rebound those free throws. And I think it was, Joel missed 4 out of 5. Theo missed a 1, and then he made 2 in a row. And then Kennedy missed those 2. Joel missed those 2. But, yeah, I didn't like it. There's no question about it. They didn't have any timeouts left. I was hoping we'd get up 3 so we could be able to foul them and not allow them to take a 3-point shot, but they struggled shooting the ball. We caught them on a night that they didn't shoot the ball very well, too. I mean, second half they're 3 of 18 from 3, but, they can make free throws because there's a reason they call them that. You can't guard them then.
In the front on the right side, Nicole.
Nicole Auerbach, USA Today. Roy, what does it feel like? Obviously there have been a lot of questions about last year, but what does it feel like to get back to the point that you all wanted to get back to have that shot?
Well, 2 or 3 emotions. I really don't think about it a lot. I really don't. It's this team. I'm coaching a new group of kids, and making it back to the national championship game is amazing. Oh, you did that last year? Well, that still makes it even more amazing, kind of thing. But we really don't talk about that all the time. It's like I told you guys ever since I got here, and even in the regionals, the only thing I've said about it is, you guys, when's you had the most fun in your life playing basketball? And everybody said it was last year. I said, well, let's remember that. Let's do the work. Let's put in the time, the work, the sacrifices to make sure we get there. But no, it's an amazing thing, and 351 teams start playing, and this is the second year in a row we won 2 left.
Right up front.
Hi, Tyler Paley, Arizona PBS. How much does your prior experience with your team in the championship matter going up against Gonzaga, which has never been here before?
On game night, kids got to play. That's the bottom line. I've never won a game from the bench, and I may have lost some, but I know I've never won one. We've got to go out and play and do the best we can, and try to do the best we can on offense, and then the best we can on defense, and then the best we can on offense, and the best we can on defense. I looked at the score at halftime as I was walking off the court for the first time, because I was trying to focus on the way we were playing. Question over here was how we struggled offensively. Their defense was better than our offense early, but we helped us later because we started defending a little bit better ourselves, and then we could run out and play against their defense before they got set. Their defense was hard to find the openings that we usually find a lot easier than we did today. But it's very fortunate for us that we're still here playing.
In the second row on the left.
Hey, Coach, Kiera Luck. On Thursday, you said that practice wasn't as good. Was that a reflection of today? Was it like the same thing, or do you see a whole new set of issues?
No, it was a whole new set of issues today. Practice, we stunk it up on Thursday. I mean, we really did. But, we've had 100 practices. Tomorrow will be practice number 101, and that doesn't include 5 to 10 during the break where we just had them come in and shoot. But we want to enjoy the dickens out of this one till midnight tonight, and that's not very far off, I think. And then we'll start focusing on Gonzaga. But Thursday's practice wasn't very good. I'm really thrilled that Joel didn't play very well, but I'm really thrilled that he was able to get through the game and not hurt his ankle anymore, and hopefully he'll play better. Isaiah needs to play better. Joel, I mean, if you look at it, it's two of our guys who started almost every game are 3 for 26. That usually means you get beat. But Kennedy and Justin, those guys really made some big plays.
In the third row on the left.
Coach Gavin Shaw, Blaze Radio. You hinted at it a little bit earlier, but do you guys specifically practice tipping the ball out on those free throw plays in the closing seconds of games, or just in general?
We practice tipping out on the free throws unless you can get the ball. If you get one hand on it and try to rebound it and don't come up with it, I'm really mad, because you've got to make a decision. Can you get the ball? And Theo was able to get it, and then Kennedy, of course, was able to get his, but he had it pretty easy. I mean, he had his big grip on it completely. But yes, we work on both of them.
In the back on the right side, Coach Jeff.
Jeff Goodman with ESPN. Roy, with going through the academic investigation, it certainly hurt you guys recruiting-wise. How do you feel like it may have actually been a blessing in terms of getting 3- and 4-year players?
I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I know I'm damn sure not the dumbest. I don't think there's 1 second of that thing it's been a blessing. Not 1 second. People have tested my credibility, and I haven't appreciated that. It's been used against us in recruiting. There's not 1 second that I've thought that was a blessing. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, and I don't have too many enemies, I think.
On the right side toward the front.
Coach John Walters, Newsweek. You've had an opportunity to play in quite a few Final Fours in the football stadiums. When you're out on the court, is it disorienting at all, or do you forget where you are and it's just another basketball game?
You lose yourself in the game. The only thing I don't like is I like to sit on the bench, but it's terrible. You can't see down there. And I mean, so that's the reason. I mean, during the course of a regular game, I sit down, I stand up, sit down, I stand up. But I'd rather sit most of the game. I could have more conversation with my staff and see if anybody's got any different ideas. But, we played on a raised floor in 2009. I think it was a level floor in 2005. And frankly, my dear, you could put me anywhere. You could put me in a hangar somewhere. If it's for a national championship, I'd be happy about it.
Final question, back row.
Simi Rieger, Tel Aviv, Israel, Roy. How do you judge how far your team comes from the beginning of your first practice to right now?
This team this year has been a stop, a start, 1 step forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But they've really played pretty darn well on game day. I mean, I've been frustrated with them. Last year, we just got better and better and better. And, we lost 3 or 4 conference games, 4, I guess, but we lost at Louisville, at Notre Dame, at somebody else, and lost to Duke at home. But we kept getting better and better. I've been begging and pleading and cajoling and kicking and stomping and screaming, trying to get them better defensively. And I thought in the second half today we were better defensively than we have been in quite a while. So after 100 practices, I hope you get better a little bit, or it means the coach is not doing a very good job.
We'd like to thank Coach Williams for joining us here in the main interview room. The North Carolina locker room should probably still be open for a few more minutes for availability with student athletes. Coach, we'll see you tomorrow. The Oregon locker room is open at this time, and we're joined by head coach Dana Altman and student athletes Casey Benson and Dylan Ennis. We'll invite Coach Altman to please provide an opening statement, then we'll take questions first for the student athletes only. Coach.
I thought both teams played really hard, which scrambled the game a little bit. Neither of us shot it very well, but I didn't think there were a lot of wide open shots to be had. Obviously, the turnovers really hurt us. We didn't get enough opportunities. We had 10 less shots than they did, and the turnovers were a big part of that. So I like the way our guys tried to battle back and stay in the game, but we put ourselves in a position that was tough to dig out of because of some bad decisions, some quick threes, and some really bad turnovers.
We'll take questions first for the student athletes. Casey and Dylan are here. Their teammates are in the locker room, and the first question will come up here on the right side of the center section.
I'd like to ask both Dylan and Casey to just kind of give me your assessment of the progress this team made and just, kind of summarize this year. I know it's a disappointing end, but I remember talking to you guys back in October. You had high hopes and you may have come a step short, but what's your assessment of this year?
Dylan first, please, then Casey.
We started off this year, hoping, to get to where we are today. We went through our ups and downs, all year. However, we stuck with it. Coach kept confidence in us. Even when we started the season, and nobody thought we'd be the team that everybody thought we'd be. But we stuck with it, kept pushing, and I'm just happy that we started playing good at the right time and got this far.
Casey, same question for you.
Yeah, as Dylan said, had a rough start, to the season, and just continue to work, continue to get better, day in and day out. And I think that's just a testament to Coach and him continuing to push us and, knowing that there was so much room for growth. And, so obviously while it stings, to say the least, there's a lot of positives to look back on.
To the right of the aisle.
Casey, if you could talk a little bit about the rebound at the end of the game off the missed foul shot.
The first one, it just got tipped out. They got it, and then the second one, they got it again. So, wish I could have dove and gotten it. That was on me. So.
Just a reminder to all, please state your name and media outlet before your question, and we're going to go to the back row, all the way to the left, all the way in the back.
Gus Morris, Daily Emerald. Obviously, it's tough to quantify not having Chris Boucher in a game like this, but having him in a game like this, how big would that have been with the way he rebounds, defends the rim and can stretch the floor out against their bigs?
We'll ask Dylan to take that first, then Casey, please.
It would have been great to have him. Chris changed the game, especially on the defensive end, but we didn't have him. We knew we were going into this game without him. We won a lot of tough games without him. But he's, part of our family. We would have loved to have him out there, but because he wasn't, it was on us to get the job done.
Casey.
Yeah, no, obviously we would have loved to have Chris out there. Hurt more for him not to be out there than us. It's it would be terrible not to be able to play in games like these. So, we missed him. Obviously, we, had to pick up the slack for what he brought to our team. So, I think once he went out, we did a pretty good job of that for the most part.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes, if there are any, please raise your hand. We'd like to thank Casey and Dylan for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to head back toward the locker room area right now, where there should be availability for a few more minutes. We're taking questions now for Coach Altman. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Let's go right to the center of the room.
Mike Scout, Kezia, and Eugene. Dana, after all is said and done with this season, as really the way the postseason has ended and how the regular season sort of culminated, with the way that all of this ended, what do you say to your team? What do you say to them after the way they played tonight, came close, after the kind of playoffs that they've had?
Well, I wish I had something that I could say that'd make them feel better. It hurts. Those guys are great competitors. I thought that was the greatest characteristic they had was they liked to compete, and they showed some of that tonight. They were down 10 with 7-8 minutes to go, and wouldn't give in to it. They're gonna look back, and it's gonna hurt because we didn't play very well at times. Our turnovers were bad, and we made some really bad decisions and quick threes. So they're not going to feel very good about it when they watch the film. But I can't fault their competitiveness. I can't fault their effort. I wish we'd have been a little sharper, but I'm sure Roy feels the same way. Like I said, it was two teams really playing hard. Really wanted to win. Meeks had a great game, and we just didn't stop him inside.
All the way to the back left, coach, for the Daily Emerald.
Yeah, I guess Morris again. I mean, obviously winning it all would have been the ultimate goal here, but how can you put this season into words with how historic it was and the things that you guys were able to do?
Well, I think that we'll look back, in a couple weeks, and this hurdle will start to be a little less, and guys will feel pretty good about it. It's pretty hard to feel good about it right now, but I do believe as the summer goes on and they reflect, the guys got along great. They were really fun to work with as a coaching staff. Pretty unselfish. They try to make plays for each other. So I think when they look back, they're going to have really good feelings about it, but it will take a while for the sting to get over, and the next few weeks, the next couple months, not going to feel real good.
Coach, second row on the left.
Hi, Coach. Kara Luck of Carolina Blue. It's safe to say that this tournament kind of grows you as a team and individually. What are some things that you think that your team has learned, I guess, the past couple of weeks, and you as a coach?
I think that our team learned some things about working together and teamwork and fighting through adversity, and we fought through some adversity with the injury to Chris, and still tried to compete. They'll learn from tonight that every possession counts, and same way with our Michigan game that went down to one possession. So they learn that, and hopefully they'll learn, looking down the road, that every possession counts, but every day is going to count. When you're working on your career, when you're working on your family, everything counts. And close loss like this, it drives coaches crazy. It drives players crazy because that, you think about every one little thing, a free throw you missed, a turnover that you had, a rebound that you didn't get, a defensive assignment that you missed. It really messes with you for a little bit longer.
Toward the back on the right.
Dana, Mark Bradley from the Atlanta Journal and Constitution. The two free throws, what were your views on those? Did you not box out? Did your guy go too far into the basket? Did he get pushed in the back? What happened?
I don't know. There was a scrum there, and we didn't come up with either one. So Jordan felt terrible. But I told him, I said, "Bud, you got 16 rebounds. We wouldn't have been in this position if it wouldn't have been for you." So, all the guys felt bad. We had 5.8 seconds. We had time, to get a look, and we just didn't get it done.
Center of the room.
Dana, Dylan Ennis, and so many of the guys on this team play with heart. They wear their emotions on their sleeve. Dylan Ennis, you could see that he wasn't okay with, this is the last game. He wanted that, and it showed in the way that he played. What could you say to sort of quantify the way he played and the kind of heart and hunger that he showed in this game tonight?
Well, I think he, I'd say that for the rest of the team. I thought all our guys, but when you're a senior, that sense of urgency, is a little bit more, and I don't know how many of our guys will be back. I'm sure all of them will look at their options, and I want them to. We want what's best for them. But Dylan Ennis knew it was his last game, So that sense of urgency when you're a senior, and you're thinking it could be the last time you get to play, I think that takes it up a notch.
Any further questions for Coach Altman? On the left side toward the front.
Deshaun Tate, CBS Radio in Atlanta. There was some high expectations for the team coming in this year. After beginning the season, there was specifically 2 back-to-back losses. Can you talk about how you kept your team motivated and optimistic about how they could still be able to get to this point and be one of the last 4 teams playing?
Well, it's a long season. We started the season, fighting injuries to Dylan Brooks, and so we got out of the gate kind of slow, but we knew it was a long season. We knew we had good basketball players, and it was a matter of just working and keeping them together. And again, we had an experienced group, a competitive group. There was never a doubt in my mind, that we wouldn't put things together and have a really good team. But we fought some adversity to start the season. We fought some at the end, and I was really proud of the guys for trying to fight through it.
Final question for Coach Altman.
Rick Morgan, Duck News. Coach, you talked a little bit about the urgency for Dylan and it being his last game, and some of the kids maybe not, knowing what their future will be, but you will be back. How do you process this? How will you learn from it, and what will you take forward with it?
Well, it's going to sting for a while, and I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to work with those guys, and all my past players and past teams have put us in this position. So you'll reflect a little bit, and then we got to start putting together a team, for next year and see where everything's at. But when I look back, no doubt I'll have great feelings for a special team that would really compete, would come to practice every day and try to do what I asked them to do. I'll have great feelings about this team. It'll just take a while for us to get through, and get rid of some of this hurt, but we will, and the guys, they'll bounce back, and the guys that are coming back will work their tails off to be better next year, and the guys that decide to make the jump, and I'm going to wish them the best of luck, and hope like heck that everything works out great for them.
We'd like to thank Coach Altman for joining us here in the main interview room, and congratulations, Coach, on a great season and a great run. Locker rooms are closed at this time, and this concludes activity here in the main interview room for this evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow afternoon at the 2017 Men's Basketball Championship pregame news conferences for the title game. Yeah. Yes. You can't publish live.